Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Namaskar. This is Inja Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India. On this day, July 22nd, 2021, Thursday, quality, safety, and world of COVID-19. Title is Civil Field Engineering, Quality, AnnexSL, COVID-19, SHA Engineer's role, designs, construction, method, contracts, organizations, communications, coordinations, and on top of all, quality. When I say civil field engineering, it doesn't mean civil construction only. Civil means public, I say public. This means whole world. Field engineering means world of engineering. Everywhere engineering is done. So don't take it just civil construction or civil engineering, but it is, you can say, reality of life. That whatever is field in this life I'm talking of, and I'm talking of quality, I'm talking of certifications, I'm talking of other certifications, whatever competency certifications we have, educational certification, or you can say authored certifications, achieved certifications, given certifications, all must be qualitative. That's what I say. Maybe I am tired of this now, probably because you are tired of listening to me all the time. Quality, 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 and safety, safety, safety. Yes, you should be tired because I want to change your skill. I am inclined to change the skill of all those who believe that they work qualitatively, but I'm not finding their belief is right. Their belief remains true. I don't find that. Because you are believing, generally a word exists in English. I believe so or you believe so. But belief is imaginary. Belief is dependent on trust. Belief is dependent on something which doesn't exist. While I am not interested in belief or believe, I am interested in facts. When I say engineering which means facts, you can say there are so many meanings related to engineering directly, and these are thinking, reality, nature, facts. And when I say facts, this means practical happening. What happens practically is known as fact, and what happens imaginarily is known something presumption or assumption, or you can say hypothetication, which doesn't have any material base. Imaginary material, you can say. I imagine this, it may happen, it may be called semi-dream, it may be called vision. Until that realizes, you cannot say it has been engineered or it is naturally engineered. My statement may hit many, it may pinch many, because there has been change in world, in conduct, particularly in lifestyle of people, which they consider quality life or they consider comfortable life. Some want to get luxurious life. Well, I don't understand this. Believe me, as far as article meaning is concerned, it's understandable, but I don't understand what is quality life, what is comfortable life, what is luxurious life full of luxuries. What is that luxury? I don't understand. From their point of view, luxury means procurement of material world, right? If you have everything with you, you have good house, good furniture, good belongings, good clothes, good bank balance, good everything, good atmosphere of living, good society, high profile actions. You may say you may belong to Acleon group. and you consider that sum of all this means comfortable life, or you can say leading life, or stand of life, or stand of living, you may consider that confined to yourself. But I don't consider it, because you are dependent on material. You are not dependent on soul. Try to get my point. There's a difference. Material and soul. It's no religion talk, it's no spiritual talk minded. It's something analytical talk based on what we think so. Because I'm referring to quality and safety. When I consider and you consider quality life is better than non-quality life. But where is quality? What do you mean by quality? A question should be asked. Quality means standard of living, or quality means standard of material, you can say collection, or quality means standard of thinking, standard of helping others, or standard of world in natural form. Don't forget, we all human beings and also all other creatures, because about other creatures I cannot say anything, but as human being we can call ourselves something. These certificates must be honored. That's first requirement. Do we? My question is that. Do we? Quality. Nature has taught us differently what we have learned. Nature, or you can say universe, or universes. If you compare your working to their working, if you can consider yourself, your way of thinking, your way of living, your determination and their determination, take lessons from nature, from universe, from systems. There is a certainty in that system that God created for us. I should say for universe rather than saying for us. We are all drawing benefits of nature created universe. Nature doesn't demand, first of all, remember, nature does not demand any bill from any of us. We never pay to nature any money. We use natural air, we use natural water, we use natural earth, we use natural sun rays, radiations, we use all kind of gifts nature has endowed on this system, solar system, and we use this system as individual and as world. All residents of earth, all including non-humans, use this earth, use this system to our benefit, to our comfort, our values. But do we understand values of these? Human being has become very weak entity, though it considers itself very intelligent, very brilliant, scientific, like it can rule over nature. Thinking of human is that. Yes, human thinks that. We have advanced in sciences, it thinks. Human thinks we have done this, we have done that. We want to go to that planet, this planet. Human thinks that. That is thinking. But not real world. Why I am saying? Because even we cannot understand this earth on which we live. We do not understand how solar system was constructed, how universe was constructed, and we claim we know everything. That is our weakness. After all, we cannot know about that power who built everyone, who produced everyone for a certain duration of life. Everybody is a project, in fact. Everybody is a project. You may ask why? How can you say that? I say everyone living on earth, maybe on other planets also, I can't say about that. But because on earth we can see each other, we can deal with each other, we all on earth are projects, individual projects. Projects scheduled by schedule vision generated by that power which is called nature, or you can also call it God. Don't ask him which God, because I don't name anyone. God is God. We don't know what face it is, what shape it is. Leave it as it is. But we know that nature exists, nature works, nature has been working, nature is working, and nature shall be working. So much support has been given to earth, to humanity, that there is no deficiency from viewpoint or from department of, from universe of that God. That nature gives us everything. Nature gives us our entity of living. Everybody is living, everybody lives, everybody comes and everybody goes. There is no one in this world who can claim that I have been living for 20,000 years or 50,000 years, or I shall never die. There doesn't exist any such formula, any such science, any such I can say philosophy. Everybody has to go. That is also true. Somebody has to live 100 years, somebody has to live 200 years, somebody has to live 50 years, somebody has to live 20 years. It depends. This means everybody comes and goes. And what we define in project? What do you mean by project? You can raise this question. My date of entry to this world is known. I know that when I was born, and that you can say commencement of my project, mobilization of my project. And other one is date of expiry or date of living or date of completion, you can say date of handover. Though we don't hand over to anyone, but let us say date of completion, on day when someone leaves this earth for unknown destination. We do not know. That day is called death day, expiry day, termination day, or you can say day of start of journey for good, whatever you can call it in ordinary terms. And this duration between date of start or date of birth to date of death or date of expiry or date of departure, DOD, date of departure, this difference of two dates is called, you can say, journey time, or you can say this person lived from this date to this date so many years, which applies to project. And once I leave this earth, I go somewhere else, I don't know where. My operation time starts because my project time is over. Somebody comes here for project duration from date of birth to date of death. This is called project, and during which our development happens, our construction happens. We do something, we use our bodies with soul, and soul is our director, everybody's director, every designer. And so soul plus body live together. Soul is, you can say, electrical energy, or you can say neurotical energy, neuron energy, that is responsible for this life duration. This life, which is equal to date of death minus date of birth, is equal to life duration. This duration is allowed for our project performance. Project performance of everybody. What contribution one gives to earth for its development, for its better working, and what destructive contribution you give to earth, both are considered. Both amount to quality. And here, if somebody comes, there must be some background, there must be some requirement you have to do, and whether we are able to find to that requirement, one is able to find that requirement, one does or one does not do, It depends. Means you can say everyone is like a worker on earth. I can call myself worker on earth. Whatever I am worker on earth. Everybody is worker on earth. Because worker has no right to belong or to own anything on project. You just do your job and go away. That's what is required on project. Join project, learn safety, learn work, do work, and then experience work. And after some time, when your work is over, go from there, demobilize. So mobilization means day of birth, date of birth. When I joined, I was delivered by some machine, mother, that's called mother machine, delivered to earth. That day, date of birth, mobilization day, birthday, then developing and all this education, everything goes on and on and on. And one time comes that I have to leave. Yes. So my project time is that. Everybody has project time. You can say I am a part of activity, some activity, and everybody is a part of that activity. We have to understand this basic formula. Why don't you understand this simple mathematics? Why are you so much inclined towards thinking of 500, 10,000 years when there is nothing as such? Means we don't understand quality. Safety and quality are required within this period. Whatever thing we say, we should be safe. Yes, everybody has right to safe. You have to work safe. So you are a worker, I am a worker, everybody is a worker. So why a worker should worry about something which there's nothing to do with that worker? My job is to do my job, that's it. I'll be paid for that. How I will be paid, that is different method. But why should I worry about my friends, my kids? Of course, life is life and everybody has a right to have family. But that family is related one. That family is related one. That family also has certain project assignments. Everybody has. So we can say quality and safety are such requirements. That's very important, and ergonomics is very important power. I just try to explain every day in one way or other way what I have to think of. Quality has been made a tool to make money rather than to do some service. I don't want to give my examples all time because I understand quality has been a failure in fact. In fact, quality has been used only as a tool to befool whole world. In fact is that. If there has been some quality system throughout world, quality of thinking, quality of vision, quality of working, quality of serving, if that had been there, world would have been a better place. But it is not better now because we have ourselves spoiled it. We have ruined it. Everyone is responsible for that. Production of plastic just for greed, production of pollution, production of something, diseases, production of poor state of people. All whose contribution is this? Nobody comes poor from skies. Nobody comes rich from skies. Everybody takes whatever it has from this earth. Nobody brings anything. You may be a trillionaire's kid. You must have come without any possession, and you shall go without any possession. That is fact of life. It is a fact, means there is no need to explain this. Everybody knows it. You may have whatever stored gathering here on earth. You may have whatever bank balance. You may own whole world. But you don't own in fact. That moment when you leave this world is a cut-off moment. That cut-off cannot be reconnected. So, where do you think your quality thinking is? Rather than serving this world, you try to serve yourself by storing money, by thinking that you are honor of everything, you forget that you are not even honor of your body. You are not even honor of your body. That's why I want to say, my engineering quality and my safety engineering have different approaches. If quality falls in my country or somewhere else, this means our mindset falls. Our citizenry mindset falls. Our children mindset falls. Mindset of everybody falls. Because quality falls. Our thinking status falls. Our thinking philosophy falls. And when thinking philosophy falls, work doing philosophy also falls. Because thinking is related to everything. Thinking is related to everything. That point we have to understand. Thinking is not a joke. You should think this. You should think that. Thinking can never be a joke. Thinking can never be a joke. It's a big wealth, most important wealth that everybody owns is bank of thinking. This bank has no bound. This bank has no account representation. But this bank is for you. There is no one who can stop you from withdrawing money from this thinking bank. And there is no one to stop you from putting money into this bank. This is your own bank. You are in charge of this bank. You are credit card of this bank. This thinking is credit card. This thinking is debit card. And this thinking is every card which you can't have here. Nobody can claim recovery of thinking from you. Nobody can claim. You can buy anything by this thinking. You can go to any extent by this thinking. This thinking is that kind of tool. And I think 99% people or 99.5% people at least cannot understand this. Some people think a lot and some people don't think a lot. Some people don't want to think anything and some people are born for thinking. That's different. If there is no thinking, there would have been no science. If there has been no thinking, there would have been no competition. There would be no education. Thinking is power of world. Because our real parent, that parent who is responsible for my soul, that parent who is responsible for my whole life, that parent comes through my thinking, not my biological parent. I am talking of soul parent. I am talking of in charge of these all universes. That is based on thinking. If I can think, I think I am lucky man. Irrespective of results. Because thinking cannot bring result immediately. Thinking is a unit of work. Thinking is a unit of brain. Thinking is a unit of build-up. Thinking is a unit point. You can say it's point of order. When we start mathematics, we say, let's start with a point. This is point. And when you put a point on paper, that point is visible. That point can't be measured, but that point can be seen. That point can be detected. There is no unit of that point to be measured. There is no meter or square meter for that, but point exists. Point exists, and when we write another point, we join two, we can say mathematically a line is drawn. That line has got some measurement in whatever relative unit. And then we can say further on another point, and then we joined all these 3 points. We say triangle. Triangle is formed, figure is formed. That figure is the basis of unit measurement. That figure can be measured in area form, which is first, you can say, measurement, first calculation based measurement. That's what I want to say. Unit of thinking is triangle. Unit of thinking is point, unit of thinking is line, and unit of thinking is group of 3 lines connecting at 3 points. 3 lines connected at 3 points is called triangle, and then 4 points connected to 4 lines by 4 lines is called rectangle or square. This means thinking gives you a starting figure of point, then line, then triangle, and then 4 side figure, or on increasing that. This means thinking starts with a point. If you have a point, you can think on that. You get another point for sure. You shall get another point. That is quality of thinking and performance by thinking. You have thought about a point, then another point. So you got 2 thinking exercises. Then you find line. Likewise, you go on. This means this is activity connection. This is called analytic. Your point is a piece of analysis. Your connection of 2 points is like synthesis. Then your connections of 3 sides like further synthesis. This means it's a positive approach. Positive means it's exposure approach, it's performance approach. You can see what you are doing. Same thing happens in mind as well, not on paper, which you may say that imaginary calculation, imaginary drawing. That's also based on thinking, but that could be called invisible thinking, and invisible means which is not seen, which is not posed, which is not exposed, and that's, we may call it negative thinking, though meaning of negative people understand differently. My understanding is not no. Negative doesn't mean no. This means invisible. Because when we do not see something, we say, oh, no, it doesn't exist. That's our basic thinking. If we know something that it is seen, we call it material. We just name it material, this material world. When we call it material world, this means we can see it. And engineering is that. Engineering can be seen. Science may not be seen, but engineering is seen. This is difference between two, engineering and basic sciences. Engineering is a proven result, is a proven product, while science is a process of doing something, thinking something. Both are sciences. One is just imaginary sciences and other one is applied science. Engineering is applied science because it gives you something, but basic sciences keep on thinking and give some formula, some process, some understanding of nature. Science is also never basics. We call basic sciences physics, chemistry, biology, whatever it is. But these are also not basics, in fact, because there is nothing we can say basics. Everything is related. Nature is nature, science is science, engineering is engineering. It depends on how you think. If there is no mathematics, you can't exist. Nothing can exist. Mathematics is top science. You cannot say some science exists without mathematics. But who gave it to us? Did we make ourselves? Never. We cannot do anything even by thinking. And thinking is also not in our hands. I can't say it's my thinking. I may say, because that is a relative statement I have to make, that this is my thinking, but in fact this is not my thinking. This is thinking by my soul, and my soul is not mine. It's controlled by someone else. That is what to see importantly. We can say world belongs to some work. World is a result of some work. I cannot say that. World is universe. It's not simply earth. We have done nothing to produce this universe. Yes, we can work using this universe, or at least this earth. We use sources of this earth and do something. We don't do ourselves. If earth does not give us support, if earth does not give us what we require, or whatever wealth is available, we cannot do anything. Our performance depends upon Earth's available wealth. Have to understand that. We are educated people or we are not educated people, doesn't make a difference unless, because we say nature is first teacher. And what is this earth? Nature. What is this universe? Nature. This means we have to learn from nature. This means also that we have to learn regularity, we have to learn practicality, we have to learn no rest life, we have to learn, continuity of work, we have to learn continuity of doing work, and we have to respect system, we have to respect belongings of nature, because systems work all time. Did you see a day when there is no 24 hours day and night? Maybe in some place of world, due to some geographical reason, there may be something else. Otherwise, day and night work, days and night work together. Weeks come and go, all relative, and years come and go, all relative. All relative means they are not fundamentals. They are named by ourselves. Says that quality requirement checks being a must. Quality requirements checks being a must. Very important point I am telling you. Do we check? Missing which we have to blame ourselves for quality failure. I always stress on quality because I learned quality more than my education. I am not, you can say, very much dependent on my basic education, that is engineering degree, but what I learned in field, in quality world, though I don't have any quality certification, yet quality can't be learned from books. Quality requires to be learned. Quality is learned from experience. If you have an opportunity of quality working, otherwise that also can be bad quality learning. Otherwise, And we say engineering. Engineering means quality application. If you can't apply what is required to be applied, you go against quality system. Quality system is not a name for decoration. Quality system doesn't mean that you just have a certificate and put it in frame and post on wall. That's not quality system. You must give quality, that is important. As an individual, as a person to use material, as a company or organization or whatever, to manufacture something for sale or for use, whatever service or good you do, you help to deliver. That should have required quality. And if you can't give that, you are not thinking of people. If you are not able to do that, you may say only certain percentage of cases happen like that. No, I don't say. Why certain? Why not everyone? Engineering means quality application and continuous improvement of quality, that is CIQ. Though it's not given in any book, I'm just abbreviating myself, just like we say continuous professional education or continuous professional development. Same way I say continuous improvement of quality. No way exists not to comply with defined or specified quality levels. No way. No way exists not to comply with. No way exists not to comply with defined or specified quality levels, because definition of quality is a must. and that definition requires to be achieved, or else work leads to status of being unsuccessful and to be reperformed. You should understand all this if you want to understand life. Engineering is no political work, because politics is a very bad word these days. If you want to really define politics in current time, in current world, politics means, number one, you have to lie. Number two, you have to fraud people. You have to tell them something. You have to promise them something that never can be fulfilled. Number three, don't think for others, but show them that you are thinking for them. Means you always speak something and then say, no, I didn't speak that. It was misunderstood. Because your only aim is in democratic world to get votes of people. This is true definition of politics nowadays, in current scenario. This means politics is imagination. Politics is fraud. Politics is non-service to people. Politics is a lying statement. If every politician is a liar all over the world. I don't say only in this country. We are master of lying. We are master of cheating. We are master of making false statements. And we are master of befooling people emotionally. It's unfortunate that people are emotional. From time to time, people become emotional, and that weak state of people, of public, these crooked politicians get benefit of. They try to make you more fool by putting in emotions and try to win seats. So politics is a stand-up. There is no quality in our systems everywhere in the world. All over the world, I can say, power game goes on, and that power is dirty power. That power is not good power. Power is meant for serving others, but political power is meant to deserving others, deserving. So I am not relating engineering to politics, because engineering in itself has different kind of politics. This is that engineering claims and engineering demands that you have to deliver quality, you have to work within safety, and you have to do as much as you can do for improving every product, every good, every service. That is engineering. And politics and engineering are different. If you want to do engineering, you don't need politics. Because politics is not based on facts. Politics is illusion given to people. While engineering is a factual based world, there is no illusion. There is no imagination, but imagination only in technical world. So engineering and politics are different worlds. Though these can be connected. Had this been connected, I think this is the best work. But because political power lies with those who don't know anything, whoever, just because of the name of democracy, you befool people and get power. And those people, they are emotional, they are made emotional, they become emotional, they cannot think because they are a group, they can't analyze uniformly, so that's why they are misled by these politicians. Every politician is a smart and crooked, smart crook they are. They can befool you, they can speak anything to you, and they just get your support, and that's their ambition, every political ambition. I'm not interested in that, but reference was very important to be given because I'm talking of some quality system. There is no quality anywhere, at least in our country, I can say. Though same situation exists all over the world, invariance, not uniform, we can say. But ours, India, Bharat, is a great leader in all these dirty actions. We are most dirt country as far as quality is concerned. Our engineering is worst, you can say. I'm telling frankly. No hesitation. No hesitation. Because we don't believe in quality. We don't believe in quality. We speak in quality. We speak for quality. We speak for whatever. We speak for certification. We speak for degrees. We speak for everything. But we never speak for quality, unfortunately. And whoever we are, whatever society we are, whatever economy we are, we can never move forward because we don't know meaning of quality. We don't know meaning of quality. Our engineers are not taught quality. Our non-engineers are not taught quality. Yes, they speak only. They speak only. Remember, to speak truth, to tell facts, to understand honesty, to remain sincere, to remain workaholic, to live clear life. All these are points of quality. You miss one, you miss all. If you lie, remember, L-I-E, lie. Jhoot in our language, Hindi. It's big crime. I consider this as crime. Because lie is linked to cheating, lie is linked to fraud, lie is linked to dishonesty, lying is linked to robbery, lying is linked to stealing, lie is ultimately linked to committing sin. Therefore, I am enemy to lie. And I am not happy. I never keep myself with any person who is used to lies. If it myself also, if I lie, I won't excuse myself. I won't excuse myself. I will punish myself. That should be approach of every good person. You can lie, very easy. But why? Why do you want to lie? So ask question yourself. You want to lie because either you want to protect yourself from some bad action, or you want to lie to get some benefit from someone for someone. Why lie? Why not to be sincere? Why not to be serious? Why to be behind always money? Why don't you want to live peaceful life, honest life, hardworking life? These points we have to understand ourselves. These are much more angular qualities. It is cohesive quality. It is uniform quality. It's actually pleasant quality, spiritual quality, soul quality. That quality we must understand. It's a different one. Quality, safety. If I am honest, I don't fear anybody. If I do not do any crime, I don't fear anybody. But now what happens? In existence there doesn't happen any quality. But quality is on sale. Quality is on sale rather than sale should be based on quality. Quality is on sale. There is no quality. Maybe many quality people shall not be happy with me with this statement. No problem. I consider engineer profession only that can deliver quality. And if engineer delivers quality, engineer has to understand quality. And if engineer can deliver it, I think that's best service you can give to humanity. Best service you can do someone. Quality, safety, health, environment required everywhere and in every activity in life. And in engineering, it's a must. But I think engineers think that it's not a must, it's a dust. It's dust. And that's right too. Because engineer is only a professional who can change society, who can change standards of living, who can think a lot and change whole life. All life. But it doesn't happen. Because engineer is also bound by money earning, engineer is also bound by surviving itself, and money earning and survival and society, all these points if you collect at one place, you will find quality is negative or it doesn't exist. I have many examples. I do not explain again and again. You buy whatever product, you won't get anything except bad. If not today, tomorrow, after some time, you will find that your action, your decision was not good because quality doesn't exist. I have experienced many times. Maybe you people too have experienced that. You know better. I did wonderfully wrong. Sometimes that every shining item is not gold. Every beautiful face is not attractive. Every intelligent mind is not good, because that mind also creates atom bomb, a force of destruction. Construction is very lengthy process. It's very smart and powerful process, while destruction is not lengthy process. You can, by use of explosive or dynamite, can destroy a building in minutes, a structure in minutes. Though my talk is related to safety and health and of course quality, we can just learn lesson from new visitor, that is COVID-19. I can call it new visitor because still its power is entering on earth. Though it's more than 1.5 years, for that power 1.5 years is nothing. COVID-19 has taught all, change yourself. COVID-19 has, by experience, by actions, instructed everybody, change yourself, change your attitude, change your mindset, or problem exists. This problem is not going back. It shall work with more and more intensity. You may have vaccination or no, you have treatment or no, this shall go on working. Is what COVID has taught us. It's taught all. You are too weak when you compare to my power. You may be UK, you may be USA, you may be Europe, you may be Bharat, you may be Asia, whatever, wherever you are. You have no power in comparison to mine. No power. That's what is taught. So we should salute it, that it has given us a lesson. That lesson can be given by none. Very example it is. Very welcome example it is. That quality and safety are very important points. I shall not like to take much time on this because I have already taken more than 40 minutes on this special talk. I like to jump to safety now. You remember we talked about radiography. We talked about radiography and radiations in our last talk. I just like to show you that book which you use for that purpose. Exactly, I don't know where it is, but records. Well, that book, well, I just like to show you for reference only, because you have seen that book and it's really wonderful. Find that book somewhere here. Let's see. I go to my folder and find that if we can. Because that's very interesting. Well, it took 3 days for me, or 2 days for me to explain to you. And really, it is very wonderful, I can say. Should be somewhere here, measuring radiations, quality policy, radiation basics, radiography. Yes, it's that book, I got it. We learned a lot from this book. I just like to scan it so that you can see again. We talked yesterday. Safety Reports Series number 13, that is radiation, protection and safety in industries, industrial radiography. This we learned, and we had gone through this index of talk, in which the introduction was there, background, objectives, scope, structures and objectives of radiation protection and safety, organizational responsibility, and you can say regulatory authority, operating organization, industrial radiographer, worker, manufacturers and suppliers, client, types of exposure devices, gamma radiography sources and containers, X-ray radiography equipment, accelerators, underwater radiography equipment, pipe crawler equipment, real-time radiography, neutron radiography, and design and use of shielded enclosures, fixed facilities, enclosure design and use, shielding design for a shielded enclosure, control of exposure in shielded enclosure, operating procedure for shielded enclosure, then cytography procedures, boundary of control area, I can say shielding administrative arrangements, monitoring, additional precautions for gamma radiations and additional precautions for X radiography, including use of accelerators, additional precautions for underwater radiography, additional precautions for pipeline crawlers, then storage, movement and transport of radiographic sources and exposures devices, storage of sources, movement and transport of sources, emergency response planning, emergencies resulting in exposures, emergency planning and preparedness, and specific emergency procedures, accident notification and report, then references, etc. So we discussed these pages all. You can just see what we discussed, and objectives of radiation protection and safety. Then you can say protection objectives and safety objectives. Of course, then we say organization responsibilities. Then we studied about regulatory inspection in that, enforcement in that, and you can say emergency. Likewise, appointment of qualified experts, appointment of radiation protection officers, types of exposure devices. Then all this we went through. You can see yourself. I'm not going to explain now, but just to refer to you what was discussed, what was conferred with in this talk. Just to reconnect, you can see yourself by going to that video. Site radiography procedures, and it's very small book, very small. You can not a book actually. This is kind of reference. This is kind of a publication. So you may say storage, etc. So you can say I just close it down because I had to refer to you. Now only small talk, it is radiographic operations, and in this case is chapter 16 of my safety book. Procedure applies to all activities involving use of radioactive isotopes for carrying out non-destructive testing. So we are talking about non-destructive testing. Purpose of this procedure is to provide instructions for controlling radiographic operations. Requirements of project procedures and safe practices shall also be complied with when performing radiographic operations. Purpose of this procedure is to provide instructions for controlling radiographic operations. Requirements of project procedures and safe practices shall also be complied with when performing radiographic operations. Definitions are same, what is safety, company, contractor, subcontractor, client, personal responsibility, training, management, safety manager, project and engineer, etc. etc. Nothing new in that. Here is definition, this employer versus radiography. Radiography can say method of non-destructive testing used to ensure integrity of plant, equipment and welding standards. Classified worker. A competent worker who carries out tasks involving radioactive sources. A competent worker who carries out tasks involving radioactive sources. Sivert. SIEVERT. You can call Sivert or Sivert, whatever. Symbol is SV. Is International System of Units. International Systems of Units. And derived unit of equivalent radiation dose. Equivalent radiation dose, effective dose and committed dose. Equivalent radiation dose, effective dose and committed dose. Quantities that are measured in sieverts are designed to represent stochastic biological effects of ionization radiation. Quantities that are measured in sieverts are designed to represent stochastic biological effects of ionizing radiations, and it is in units, you can say meaning standard unit of radiation. Old is 1 sievert equals 100 rem and is absorbed dose. Updated is 1 SV. 1 SV means sievert. Sievert is equal to 1 sievert is equal to 1 joule per kilogram or 1 GY. Radiation sources include X-rays. Radiation source, this radiation you are talking of, include X-rays, gamma sources such as iridium 192, erbium 169. And notice cobalt 60 shall only be allowed on site with prior approval from EPC contractor, site manager and employer. And RPS is Radiation Protection Supervisor. Responsibilities in general respecting certain contract positions. So we have already known this: project leader, manager, site leader, site safety officer, construction leader, project site engineer, site safety inspector, engineer, site foreman, and individual working on site responsible to maintain safety measures. So all these are known, and I'm not going to repeat that. And responsibilities are maybe a little different, I can read. EPC contractor site leader is responsible for ensuring that all overall requirements described in this procedure are understood and followed. EPC contractor HSE leader is responsible for ensuring following points: EPC contractor supervision and all subcontractors are familiar with this procedure, that radiographic operations are being carried out in compliance with this procedure. Radiographic subcontractor, HSE leader or such designate, is responsible for ensuring following points: checking all barriers, lights and signs, checking all radiographic subcontractor I'm talking of. There must be a manager for that company, safety leader for that company, who is responsible for checking all barriers, lights and signs prior to winding out of source. Before leaving, they have to check all barriers, lights and signs. Then ensuring that radiographic subcontractor personnel are observing or absorb site safety requirements with regard to storage, transportation and recording sources to be used. It's very important because with regard to storage, how to store source of radiation, transportation and recording sources to be used. Instructing and training radiographic subcontractor supervision in implementation of this procedure. Monitoring radioactivity levels. Monitoring radioactivity levels to ensure that limits of exposures are not being exceeded. So, the basic responsibility here is checking all barriers, lights and signs prior to winding out of source, ensuring that radiographic subcontractor personnel are observing or observe site safety requirements with regard to storage, transportation and recording sources to be used. Instructing, training radiographic subcontractor supervision in implementation of these procedures. Monitoring radioactive levels to ensure that limits of exposures are not being exceeded. EPC contractor, construction leader and subcontractor site leader shall coordinate radiographic activities to minimize the impact on other works areas within project site. Shall inform all necessary parties including client engineer. Shall coordinate radiographic activities to minimize impact on other areas within project site. Shall inform all necessary parties including client engineer of certain planned activity as applicable to this procedure. Welding supervisor and subcontractor shall have an overall responsibility for supervision of radiographic personnel. Shall have an overall responsibility for supervision of radiographic personnel including certain subcontractors that be employed, with particular regard to allocation of work and following points activities. Ensure that all parties are informed in advance of activities involving radioactive sources. Ensure that all parties are informed in advance of activities involving radioactive sources. To brief subcontractors personnel on safe working rules on site. Shall ensure that all personnel perform work and handling radioactive materials are trained about these procedures. Adequate arrangements exist on site for receipt and storage of radioactive sources. To ensure the working rules and emergency procedures have been prepared for use of radioactive material. Radiographic subcontractors shall be made aware of procedures contained and ensure that meet with following compliance. Ensure authorization from contractor site leader to work on project, that respective employees have been provided with suitable and sufficient personal protective equipment. Local radiations first rule have been submitted, approved and are implemented. Radiation protection supervisor RPS appointed to control work activities. Radiation protection supervisor. Radiographic subcontractor shall appoint a RPS. Duties shall include but not be limited to following: monitoring all work sites where ionizing radiations are utilized to ensure work is carried out in accordance and compliance with these regulations. Adherence to local rules and formulations of contingency plans to ensure safe working practices with adequate emergency response successfully if so required. Training and monitoring all workers exposed to ionizing radiation. Training and monitoring all workers exposed to ionizing radiation to ensure that personnel perform assigned works without endangering themselves, fellow workers and the environment from impact of radiations. Provisions of approved dosimeters. Provision of approved dosimeters control as defined In regulations for work being performed, the adequate records made respecting radiations. Instructions. Now I'll come back with this. Meanwhile, you can go through this. I'll come back and start again on this. Few minutes time you can have opportunity to read this. Meanwhile, though it sounds very small point of this, so you can read that. Let me be back in a couple of minutes or minutes. I think it's almost 1 hour gone. So no problem. Enjoy yourself by that time and I'll be back. Okay, I'm late, but I'm here. No way out, no solution otherwise. Back here again and talking to you, and it is really wonderful that we are now back. Instructions now. For operations involving use of radioactive sources. For operations involving use of radioactive sources, following points apply. What are these points? You have to see that. For operations involving use of radioactive sources, following points apply. Applications shall initially be made on pro forma as defined on attachment to EPC contractor, welding supervisor, a minimum of 24 hours in advance. Minimum of 24 hours in advance for carrying out radiographic operations. Contractor welding supervisor shall review and authorize work as necessary, because we are doing welding and radiography is being applied for welding activity, right? Then welding supervisor shall review and authorize work as necessary. Welding supervisor shall review and authorize work as necessary. Authorization shall be provided on receipt of following information. Exact location you have to give. Exact location, start and finish time, adjacent operations, source type and strength. So location is important, start and finish time, adjacent operations, source type and strength. Wherever possible, special embankment compounds shall be constructed to conduct radiography in a controlled manner away from main area of work. Wherever possible, special embankment, you have some bunds type. Special embankment compound shall be constructed to conduct radiography in a controlled manner away from main areas of work. Location on site of radiographic isotope shall be logged. Location on site of radiographic isotopes shall be logged and known by EPC contractor all time. Before radiography is conducted inside operating plant, operations personnel shall be consulted in advance. Operational personnel, those who are authorities in that area, operations, operator, personnel shall be consulted in advance to ensure that certain possible interferences to functional instrumentation, including fire detection equipment, is taken into consideration. A permit to work is required for these activities, which application should be raised by subcontractors, welding supervisor or radiographic operation supervisor. Radiographic subcontractor shall sign pro forma on attachment confirming understanding all precautions to be observed prior to commencement of radiography. Subcontractor shall barrier off area, place flashing lights and check to ensure that all personnel have been vacated from inside barriers. Distance of barriers shall be sufficient to ensure that no more than 7.5 micron sieverts unit SV exposure occurs at barrier parameters. Where required, a collimator shall be fitted. To end of projection tube for all external pipe. Where required, a collimator shall be fitted to end of projection tube for all external pipe weld shorts in order to reduce size of controlled area. At discretion of engineering leader or manager, client, engineer, a manual alarm may be requested prior to commencement of operations. A wind out test may be required at discretion of engineer's HSC leader to ensure that barriers have been erected at a safe distance. When all above requirements have been carried out, radiography may proceed. On completion of work, subcontractor shall return source to its storage area and then remove all barriers and equipment from barricaded sites. Radiography application shall be returned to subcontractor, welding supervisor, who should file all radiography applications. Emergency response. All subcontractors involved on use of ionizing radiations shall prepare formal contingency plans to deal with meeting whatever emergencies which might arise from storage, transportation, and use of ionizing radiation. Such plans shall include but not be limited to dealing with following emergencies: accidental overexposure to ionizing radiation, that is, accidental overexposure to ionizing radiations, loss or theft of a source of ionizing radiation, vehicular accident involving transport of sources of ionizing radiation, failure of an exposed source to fully wind back into its sealed source container, physical damage to a sealed source causing possible leakage of radioactive material, contamination of environment with radioactive material. A standard list of the emergency equipment indicated below. So why we point? These points are emergency points that require preparation for. This says accidental overexposure to ionizing radiation, loss or theft of a source of ionizing radiation, vehicular accident involving transport of sources of ionizing radiation, failure of an exposed source to fully wind back into its sealed source container, physical damage to a sealed source causing possible leakage of radioactive material, contamination of environment with radioactive material. A standard list of emergency equipment indicated. Audible alarm, integrated dosimeter, tongs, pliers, screwdrivers, long handled wire cutters, adjustable spanners, rope, hand lamp, tripod, radiation barriers, radiation warning signs, bags of lead shot, emergency storage containers, pouring funnel to suit storage containers, integrated dosimeters, pouring funnel to suit storage containers. Let's repeat. Audible alarm, integrated dosimeters, tongs, pliers, screwdriver, long handled wire cutters, adjustable spanner, rope, hand lamp, tripod, radiation barriers, radiation warning signs, bags of lead shot, emergency storage container, pouring funnel to suit storage containers. Such contingency plan shall be forwarded to contractor, site leader for site HSC leader for incorporation with project overall emergency response scheme. All users of ionizing radiation shall be available all time. Necessary means to contact RPS and emergency services when operating outside normal base of operation on behalf of project shall be provided. or notified. All emergency incidents shall be reported in writing to EPC contractor for site manager and contractor HSC leader. Medical surveillance. Medical surveillance. Prior to coming on site, all personnel involved in radiography shall undergo a medical examination to ensure that personnel have not been exposed to levels of radiation in excess to those laid down by host country regulations. Personnel shall carry personal dosimeters. Personnel shall carry personal dosimeters to track amount of exposure, and records be maintained respecting individual classified worker. Dosimeters provided shall normally be of film badge type, which could be analyzed on a monthly basis to maintain a record of exposure. In the event that an individual has been exposed to a level of 100 micron SV at some point one time, personnel shall be immediately subject to medical surveillance. So this is what, again I read, this very important it is, we have to understand that. Prior to, you can say, prior to coming on site, all personnel involved in radiography shall undergo a medical examination to ensure that personnel have not been exposed to levels of radiation in excess to those laid down by host country regulations. Personnel shall carry personal dosimeters to track amount of exposure, and records be maintained respecting individual classified workers. Dosimeters provided shall normally be of film badge type, which could be analyzed on a monthly basis to maintain a record of exposure. In the event that an individual has been exposed to a level of 100 micron SV Sievert at some point one time, personnel shall be immediately sent for medical surveillance. Immediately be subject to medical surveillance. Radiation dosage levels. Maximum permitted dosage levels over 8 hours are as follows. Classified worker 25 micron, 25 MSV per hour, and unclassified worker 7.5 MSV per hour. Annual dose limits are as follows. Classified worker 50 MSV, unclassified worker 0.5 MSV, 1/10 of that. Trainee workers 15 MSV. Equipment. All radiation sources used on site shall meet to an internationally recognized safety standard in accordance with Safety Ionizing Radiation Regulation. Current edition, and shall be of a sealed source type. Two dose rates meters shall be available all times on site when radiography is being carried out. These meters shall be commensurate with type of radiation employed, be provided with a valid test certificate of calibration, and shall have a functional battery test position. Prior to using a source, dose rate meter shall be tested, namely by placing it near to or on container of a sealed source. Storage. Where it's necessary to keep sources on site, following minimum requirements shall apply. Radiographic subcontractor is to submit drawings of proposed storage, compound and pit for engineer site approval. Compound and pit shall be made of sound construction, secured in a manner that prevents unauthorized entry and interference. Fence around source pit shall be minimum of 2 meters high. Fence around source pit shall be minimum of 2 meters high. It shall be constructed to provide proper shielding below 7.5 mu SV at fence line. Be fire resistant and protect source from elements. Compound shall not be used for any other purpose than storing radioactive source and have adequate warning signs displayed, namely trefoil and warning notices in Arabic and English or whatever language you can say. When not in use, radioactive isotopes shall all times be kept under lock and key. Senior radiographic technicians at site shall hold keys with EPC, contractor, radiation safety officer to carry additional keys. Maximum strength of source allowed on site shall not exceed 50 curies. Sources exceeding 50 curies shall only be allowed on site with permission of employer and contractor site leaders. References: EBS codes of practice for site radiography application. So this is what we have discussed about on all sites. So now we'll talk of radiographic operations. We have talked. Now we'll talk of night working actually. We'll talk of night working here. It's only 4 pages, and also we'll take care of scaffolding and ladders, which is so very interesting here in this case. So we have here 2 points, 2 chapters. We start with night working. It's chapter 17 of this book, night working. Procedures shall apply to all activities, namely concrete pours, non-destructive work, test runs that necessitate need for working during hours of darkness on projects. So here are, namely I am saying, it's not necessary, there can be more activities. Concrete pour is generally done at night, so that's one activity. It can be excavation also. Anyway, we are not taking that one. NDT, non-destructive testing work, just we discussed with radiography. Test runs that necessitate need for working during hours of darkness. And you can say, what is purpose? Purpose of this procedure is to outline requirements and responsibilities for certain work or activity carried out during hours of darkness or in areas where artificial lighting is required. Certain types of activities shall be required to be carried out during night hours due to compulsion of continuation for being major quantity or weather conditions do not permit during day hours. For example, concrete pouring in summer, structural steel erection in summer, reinforcement assembly and placement in summer. Preparatory works may be carried out during night hours. Overtime works may also be carried out during night hours. Concrete curing can also be affected as well. Non-destructive testing NDT may preferably be conducted. Pipe testing for major works can also be carried out. So just the tentative talk here. Again I say purpose of this procedure is to outline requirements and responsibilities for certain work or activity carried out during hours of darkness or in areas where artificial lighting is required. Certain types of activities shall be required to be carried out during night hours due to compulsion of continuation of for being major quantity or weather conditions do not permit during day hours. For example, concrete pouring in summer, structural steel erection in summer, reinforcement assembly and placement in summer. Preparatory works may be carried out during night hours. Overtime works may also be carried out during night hours. Concrete curing can also be effected as well. Non-destructive testing may preferably be conducted. Pipe testing for major works can also be carried out. Definitions: safety, same company, contractor, subcontractor, client, personal means responsible, training, management, same as was before. No need for explanation then. Responsibilities are general, same project leader and site leaders, site safety leader, construction leader, project site leader, site safety inspector, site foreman, individuals. They are all same, no repetition on that. You can say certain thing is, example is lumen is used. This is a unit, lumen, which is used to describe amount of light emitted by a source or received on a surface, that is lumen, and lux is equivalent to 1 lumen per square meter. Lumen is unit used to describe amount of light emitted by a source or received on a surface. And lux is equivalent to 1 lumen per square meter. And it is non-destructive testing. And again I say responsibility, which we know that site manager has to do, and HSC person, contractor, likewise coordinates site activities. Site leader is responsible for ensuring that all overall requirements of this procedure are understood to be followed. All such requirements should be implemented in true spirit. Site leader is responsible, site safety leader is responsible for ensuring following issues: supervision and contractors manager are familiar with this procedure. That's procedure implemented only during night shift activities. Contractor and subcontractors shall instruct and train supervisors. Supervision to implement this procedure shall monitor illumination levels to ensure that sufficient lighting is being provided. A simple pocket light meter shall be used to check illumination levels. Pocket light meter. Subcontractor site leader shall coordinate site activities to minimize night shift, extended work hours, and also number of personnel involved on such activities. Inform contractor, site leader of whatever planned overtime or night shift activity as applicable to this procedure. Contractor and subcontractor superintendents and supervision in charge of work shall be responsible for following issues. When required to work at night, responsible supervisor shall ensure that site safety representative has been informed and that safety is satisfied about all necessary measures adopted. Planning work as far as practicable to limit requirement of night working. Minimum hours should be preferred during night. For activities such as radiography, shall ensure that signs, barriers, and flashing lights are provided. Adequate lighting included, that relevant persons have been informed. Issue instructions, particularly about movement of vehicles, concrete trucks, pumps, water tank, etc., with the area of work activity. Ensure that adequate barriers are provided around areas where hazards may exist and that such hazards are clearly lit. Ensure that lighting is adequate on all works areas, minimum of 100 lux, and that personnel are not working in darkness. Ensure the work method statements and risk assessments have been carried out for work activities effectively. Ensure that adequate medical coverage is available during ongoing work. Ensure that all tools and equipments are provided in advance of work being commenced with. Ensure drinking water and tea, etc. are available for personnel working at night. Ensuring that toilets open. Maintenance personnel are responsible for following issues: regular inspection and maintenance of light equipment, that all installed lighting equipment have been checked in accordance with project temporary tactic procedure and the cables are routed, preventing tip hazards. Contractors shall ensure that all are aware of contents of this procedure, have authorization to work during night hours. Employees are provided with suitable and sufficient personal protective equipment. First aiders are present during night. Then you can just incopulate back. Just a minute, please. To talk on safety, it's really important to talk on this issue. Instructions. Instructions here are following table indicates minimum level of illumination, that is interior movement only 5 lux, handling material, let me see please, here is one more point. Sorry. Says that maintenance personnel are responsible for following issues: regular inspections and maintenance of lighting equipment, that all installed lighting equipment have been checked in accordance with project temporary electric procedures and that cables are routed preventing the faults. Contractors shall ensure that all are aware of contents of this procedure, have authorization to work during night hours. Employees are provided with suitable, sufficient personal protective equipment. First aider are present during night hours. Now instructions are about luxes, level of illumination. Interior movement 5 lux, handling materials 10 lux, general rough work 15 lux, interior working places 15 lux, interior reinforcing and contracting 50 lux, reinforcing and concreting 50 lux, brick laying 100 lux, bench work plastering 200 lux, interior workshop 400 lux, drawing boards 400 lux. As a general rule, office lighting is set to around 100 lux. So 5 lux starts, that is with interior movement, and 10 lux handling material. Means interior movement can be smaller, means just to see, while handling materials is more important, just to see. Materials should be safe, that is 10 lakhs. General rough work 15 lakhs, interior working places 15 lakhs, interior enforcing and concreting 50 lakhs, brick laying 100 lakhs, bench work plastering 200 lakhs, interior workshop 400 lakhs, drawing boards 400 lakhs, office working for 100 lakhs. Area lighting. Object of area lighting should be to produce an overall level of illumination sufficient for personnel and equipment to move around safely, to carry out work activities without exposure to any risk. When setting up temporary lighting, consideration should be given to respective locations, ensuring all areas receive illuminations from at least 2 directions to prevent shadow. Wherever possible, conventional tungsten or tungsten halogen lights should be used. High pressure sodium lights should be avoided due to potential fire risks. Light should be mounted on poles or towers and space for optimal light distribution. Practice of placing halogen light units on ground to illuminate a work area causes hazardous glare. Following general aspects of area lighting should be followed. All points of exit, pathways and muster points must be clearly illumined. Ladder access and egress shall be clearly illumined. Lighting equipment provided shall be 220 volts and checked in accordance with procedure of our temporary electricals. Where bayonet type light bulbs are used, extinguishers for illuminating passageway and stairways shall be protected by cages. Lights provided for this purpose shall be located such as to avoid glare. All lights shall be located at predefined spacing so that all areas are well illumined without causing certain glaring hazard. Illumination shall be measured prior to work being carried out by a light meter calibrated in lux. Tower lighting shall be positioned such that it illumines all parts of area where work is moving. Light should be provided in confined spaces. Backup lights shall be provided in case of power failure. Generators shall be checked prior to use to ensure that they meet some special requirements for hazardous areas. Light poles, other metal poles shall be earth and circuit fitted with residual current devices. Cables employed for purpose of temporary lights shall be routed to ensure that they do not present a trip hazard or hazard of other obstruction. This is what we had to talk. It's not unlimited one, what we talked in this scope and purpose, activities, safety, responsibilities, and instructions and values. Lux, what should be lux value, area lighting, and very nominally we learned all this. Then we move on to scaffolds and ladders. Scaffolds and ladders. We all know scaffolds and ladders, and this is only guideline for scaffold erection. Purpose of this procedure is to set or define standards for scaffolds that shall be erected using sound materials and to set define further standards for their respective safe use. So, say that purpose of this procedure is to start defining standard for scaffold that shall be erected using sound materials and to set define further standards for their respective safe use and procedural inspection at specified period. Scaffolding is a complicated activity requiring professional attention since it's often prone to collapse. Correct standards, methods of design and installation should be well understood prior to making use of system. Scaffolding system for permanent works such as formwork, support system. Scaffolding system for preparatory works support such as working platform. An attempt has been envisaged to talk of preparatory work supports. Before going further, let me define what's the difference between temporary work, preparatory work and permanent work. We understand that. Scaffolding itself is a temporary work. Be very careful. It's very important It's very powerful, and without this, nothing can move at higher levels. Construction. Construction is a job. Construction is a job that can get carried out. during day or at night. Reason why workers get asked to complete work at night is that companies often rush to complete assignment within a specific time, trying to meet requirement is what urges employers to push personnel to way past their usual working hours. We are going to share technique that you can use to stay alert and use as construction night work safely. Safety rules you can make your employees follow safety tips. Night work 7 hours that covers midnight and extends past 5 a.m. Working from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. is usually termed as night shift. If you work these hours, you are a night worker. Someone whose working hours include 3 hours of this period will also get considered as night worker. Now we must state that a worker who is working at night shift cannot work past an 8-hour mark. Worker who is working night shift cannot work past an 8-hour mark. Working past this time limits puts them in kind of danger that shall be harmful to them. Just theoretical I am telling you. What goes wrong? What goes wrong? You may not know, but working odd hours shall slowly corrode your physical and mental health. Your mind also suffers consequence. You must know about circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm. It helps to maintain temperature, pressure, metabolism controls. That is circadian rhythm, which helps to maintain temperature, pressure, metabolism controls, adrenaline, digestion and sleep routine, and waking up. Think of it as a guide or a clock that shall help you to do certain things at certain time. Let's say noon time, let's say 6 morning, lowest body temperature 4:30. 2 o'clock deepest sleep, at night I'm talking, at midnight is 00. Let's say deepest sleep at 2 o'clock, lowest body temperature at 4:30 in morning. 6 is your green here, you can see that, morning time. Then sharp rise in body blood pressure 6:45. Melatonin secretion stops 7:30. Bowel movement likely 8:30. Highest testosterone secretion 9. Highest alert 10. And noon, yeah. This portion, this is light dark cycle. Then you can say here noon, best coordination 2:30, afternoon, fastest reaction time 3:30, fastest reaction time. greatest cardiovascular efficiency and muscle strength 17 5 o'clock, then 6 a.m. 6:30 afternoon, highest blood pressure, 7 highest body temperature, 9 at night melatonin secretion starts, and 22:30 10:30 at night bowel movements suppressed. Now this pumps up energy during daytime and reduces energy at night so that you can relax and fall into slumber. Disrupting its cycle will make you feel tired and strained. It will not allow you to concentrate on anything. Pumps up energy during daytime and reduces energy at night so that you can relax and fall into slumber. Disrupting its cycle will make you feel tired and strained and shall not allow you to concentrate on anything. It's common It's common for workers who work at night do not get rest their body needs to recover. Rest that they have during their non-working hours is insufficient and they suffer from a sleeping disorder. Problems of sleeping disorder. Several problems occur when you do not have sufficient sleep. You may think that you shall power through, but your body shall resist you. Main problems of insufficient sleep are symptoms of shift work, sleep disorder, lack of energy, headache, trouble concentrating. Means you have lesser energy, you can get headache and you can find non-concentration state, difficult to concentrate. Excessive sleeping during waking hours, depression and irritability. Means you want to sleep at time when it is waking time, you have depression, you have irritability, you have inability to fall asleep or stay asleep, inability to fall asleep. You shall feel tired all time. It will make you run into more accidents. You shall feel headaches all time. You will decrease your level of performance and feel strained. Cannot continue doing your work when you want nothing more than getting back to your bed and sleep. But some solutions will find that will help to get necessary rest so that you can keep a clear head. You can keep a clear head when you need to work at night. We are not giving a solution that solve problems. You may suffer from messed up sleep cycle. We are simply saying how you can stay focused when working in night shift becomes unavoidable. Follow these schedules for sleep and working methods, which you have to maintain regularly till your night shift requirements are over. Sleeping requirements. Sleep for at least 4 hours before start of your shift. Mealtime. After waking up, have your meal as it would not make you hungry during your shift. Proper food. Select food that is less fatty and more balanced so that you do not feel any discomfort while working. Breaks in between. Avoid working constantly for too long. Introduce break in between. These breaks help you to feel more refreshed and concentrate better when you continue with your work once again. Necessity for proper boots. Boots are another protective gear that help you during your construction work. Apart from protecting your feet, it also gives you feet support that you need complete work. Protecting your feet becomes more necessary at night than during day. During day, you have natural light that helps you to see things move clearly. But at night, chances of your having an accident increase tenfold. Avoid accident. Especially created construction boots help you to avoid accidents. If you do not have to look for objects that might hurt your feet, you shall be more focused on your work. Nothing can pierce boots as its material is quite thick. Protection. Chance of getting hurt amplify construction night work safety measures. Okay, you and your colleagues are all in a sleepless state. Anybody can lose their grip and drop something heavy which might hurt your feet. With construction work boots, you do not need worry about anything as their strong build will keep your feet safe from anything. Resist slipping. You do not have to worry about slipping and falling as boots provide a great grip. It also keeps your feet firmly placed inside boots, and this helps you to walk properly on rough surface. Comfortable wear. Cushioned interiors of boots shall provide you comfort that no other footwear be able to give. Security and comfort of boots help you to feel less fatigue after work. No, you will still feel tired and long for sleep, but you will notice that your feet and legs are not aching as much as it might have after your grueling work. Boots are not only helpful for feet protection, but also make sure that your legs and alright. Is night shift difficult for employers? Yes. If you are an employer, you have your work cut out. First step that you need to do is access risk factor that your employees have to go through when you ask them to work on night shift. You also have to take note of condition in which your workers be working and find out whether they will be able to continue their work in those conditions. What you have to do? You need to create a plan that allows your workers to stay safe and work without getting harmed. In addition to that, you need to do a host of other things to make sure that work itself does not get stopped. Awareness of roles. Engineers, safety officers, project leaders, designers, site leaders, and workers all need to perform their specific duty to maintain safety and make sure that there is no health problem at site. Discussing their particular role in construction work at night time should be at the top of your agenda list during planning work safety meeting. Understand risk. Understand risk. Have to make your employees undergo a test which prove that they can access risk and stay away from it. Test will prove that your employees can identify, analyze, allocate, plan and control circumstances that can prove to be risky. You shall have to show them process of risk management, organization and testing them on what they have learned has to be final stage of process. Safety equipment. Barriers, lighting equipments and reflective tapes and signage are all examples of safety equipment that you need when you are undertaking night time construction work. You need to make sure your workers have an abundance of these pieces of equipment and that those are easily available to them. Proper visibility. Since your workers shall not have natural lighting, you shall need make sure that they have enough artificial light that will allow to continue with their work. But be careful that properties around site do not get bathed by artificial lights. Noise control. Pieces of equipment used for construction are a bit noisy. You may be working, but then you proper rest. You need to make sure that your staff is well rested before they set to work. Make sure that they eat all right and sleep well before they start their grueling shift. Right gear. The staff needs to wear proper gear that's necessary for construction work. And since they be working at night, they need more than anything. Safety of people is more important, so make sure that your workers are safe. Night work safety checklist. Safety is very important while working at night time and be sure to follow following checklist. It's important, very important to supervise night shifts to ensure workers' safety and wellness. Evaluate workplace for dimly lit. Evaluate workplace for dimly lit environments, poor air circulation and high temperatures. Allow workers to take shift while working at night. Train workers to take shifts and utilize time in sleeping or napping. This maintains health of workers. Allow workers to take break when they feel tired or sleepy, even if it during their work duty hours. Make plans and standardized program for shift changes because most accidents happen in between shift changes. Make sure that workers stay healthy by exercising and eating healthy. Workers working at night in construction sites might end up facing following hazards. Working during night causes sleep deprivation. Working during night causes sleep deprivation which poses great danger while working with heavy equipments or during paving roads at night. They might mishandle heavy equipment due to lack of sleep or might be unaware of approaching vehicles. They might even get hit by truck because drivers often drive harshly at night hours. They might as well harm themselves while constructing roads in a state of sleep while handling molten concrete, which can cause burns and injuries. Might also happen that a worker might get hit by a car while crossing roads at off-site areas. Night shift safety tips. It's very important for your workers to follow following safety tips while working at night shifts. Do not swap shifts too often. Make sure to get adequate sleep before going for your night shift. Do not rush for night shift immediately after taking a heavy meal. This shall make you sleepier. Make sure that work environment at night is brightly lit. Avoid working between 4 am to 6 am. Listen to music while at work or keep talking to co-workers. Make sure to follow same schedule even at your day off. Do not watch TV or look into your phones while sleeping. Give your body and mind adequate rest. Do not keep on changing timings of shifts of each worker. Allow their body to adjust to same timings of sleep. Limit consecutive night shifts. Allow frequent breaks so that workers can have tea breaks or snacks in between or take a nap. Ensure to chalk out transportation plan with your employees as they will need help with journey. After completing a night shift, they shall be physically unstable. So make sure you work with them to sort out a suitable transportation method. Message to employees is that you follow all instructions that your employers hand out for your safety. This is about safety. We just try to give you as much as possible in this regard. So I'll put this off as well, right? Okay. It's talking about scaffolding. It's talking about scaffolding. It's talking about temporary work, preparatory work, and permanent work. Scaffolding is a temporary work itself. It helps in accessing to area where preparatory works are done. For example, work on forms, and works on many other items which are done for purpose of doing permanent works. Scaffolding, access routes, how to reach up, all these are temporary works, and some are horizontal. So we can say purpose of this procedure is to set defined standards for scaffolds that be erected using sound materials, and to set define further standards for their respective safe use and procedural inspection at specific periods. Scaffolding is a complicated activity requiring professional attention since it is often prone to collapse. Correct standards, methods of design and installation should be well understood prior to making use of system. Scaffolding system for permanent works such as formwork support system, for preparatory works support such as working platform. An attempt has been envisaged to talk of preparatory work support. Definitions are same: safety, company, contractor, subcontractor, client, personal responsibility. Training means a specific training imparted for a specific safety topic on job or project site. Management, safety leader, project leader, etc. etc. Sorry. Scaffolding. Scaffolding is defined as a temporary structure which provides access, working places, and can be used to support materials, plant, or equipment. It can be divided into two types: unit formwork or quick stays, all round or other types of purpose made frames or units, tube and fittings. Individual tubes of varying lengths held together by little couplers. Only system tube and couplers shall be used to erect scaffolds, frame unit scaffolding, and tube couplers. Tube shall Only system tube and coupler shall be used to erect scaffolds. Frame unit scaffolding and tube couplers type shall not be mixed into single structure. Use of formwork type timber shall not be employed as a load-bearing scaffolding material. Component definition, and before that I think we should go for, in this case, scaffolding requirement. We can say scaffolding. Why it's not getting in? That's pointy here. I can't get it. I'm not getting it. Why? It's getting in here, you know. It's getting in here. Safety 1 is getting, safety 2 is not getting. Why? It's just, I tried to get you this sketch. Component definition: base plate, a metal base with a central spigot. A metal base with a central spigot for distributing load from a standard raker or load bearing tube. So metal base plate is metal base with a central spigot, and that may be here. You see, if you go up, you will find here, and bottom here some is this dark one, this is that one. You go to metal base with a central spigot for distributing load from standard breaker or load bearing tube. Bay length: distance between two adjacent standards along face of a scaffold. So this is bay length. You can see this is standard, this is standard, and this is standard likewise. I don't know, whatever it is, this is standard. Cancel our bay length: distance between two adjacent standards along face of a scaffold. Board: a softwood or metal board used with similar boards to provide access platform, working platform, or board, etc. Platforms are here. They're all platforms, and board bearer: intermediate transom, a tube spanning across ledges at mid-span to support a working platform. A tube spanning across ledges at mid-span to support a working platform. Brace: a tube incorporated diagonally across two or more members in a scaffold and secured to them in border to ensure stability. Brace: buttress. Buttress an adequately braced tubular structure. An adequately braced tubular structure erected against existing scaffolding for purpose of strengthening it. Castor, a survival wheel with a lock device secured to base for purpose of making a scaffold mobile. A swivel wheel with a lock device secured to base for purpose of making a scaffold mobile. Toe board, put lock clip used to fix a toe board to a scaffold tube. Coupler, a joiner fitting used to fix scaffold tubes together. Couplers are divided into load bearing or non-load bearing. Guard rail, a tube secured onto scaffold to prevent fall of a person. Hoop iron, metal bond fitted to ends of softwood board to prevent splitting. Ledger, ledger, a horizontal tube secured to standards with load-bearing fittings. It prevents standards from bowing and acts as a support for transom. Then ledger, a horizontal tube secured to standard with load-bearing fittings. It prevents standards from bowing and acts as a support for transoms, board bearers, and ledger to ledger diagonal braces. Access platform, a fully boarded out bay that provides step-off points for ladder access. Assembly of ledgers, this lift is assembly of ledgers, transoms and board bearers forming each horizontal level of a scaffold. Needle transom, a transom extends from a scaffold. Node needle transom extends from a scaffold. Node point, common point where ledgers, standards and transoms are fixed. Common point where ledger, standards and trams are fixed. Now punctum, this common point was about node point. And punctum, a vertical tube secured at its lower end with this load-bearing coupler to horizontal tube. Load is not transmitted directly into ground or into a base plate. Vertical tube secured to its lower end with a load-bearing coupler to a horizontal tube. rackers, puncheon, rackers, scaffold, sleeve couplers, sole plate. We'll discuss all this, right? We'll discuss this for clarity because I don't know rush on this very important item. It's not only important, it's very important, and we have to take care of this because only due to scaffolding, wrong scaffolding can result into accidents. It's very, very common, and we have to take care of that. We have taken care today about radiations. We have taken today care about, you can say, night shift, and we are going to take care about this scaffolding. We have to understand it properly, gradually, rightly. So now we'll take now ourselves to a closer for today because it's already more than 3 hours and I don't want to rush on this because it's an important topic and we have to think on this issue rightly. And I understand that very boring topics these are, but very important in construction industry. Very, very important. You have to realize this fact. Can't run away from facts. Facts are facts.